Hey, yo, what's up, viewers? It's Tyler here of Chico Crypto. I'm here with Tyler Adams of the Moonlight Project. Tyler, so first introduce yourself, of course.
So my name's Tyler Adams. I'm one of the co-founders of City of Zion, and I'm also the co-founder of the Moonlight platform, which is a project on the NEO blockchain.
So could you explain for viewers out there, what is Moonlight in simple terms? Basically an elevator pitch. If you met someone in the elevator, how would you convince them to invest in Moonlight or use the platform?
Yeah, so the high level, right, in industry, we have a lot of visible issues, right? Specifically around employee engagement, right, and also hiring employees that are engaged on programs, right? Sometimes people want to work on something, and the business needs don't really line up with that, right? And because of changing business needs, you continually end up in the situation where you're reorging, or you're laying people off, or you're pushing people in career directions that they don't really want. So the goal of Moonlight is to create an ecosystem that supports advanced project management tools, which is kind of common in technical industries, while also allowing people to work on things that they really want.
So how long has Moonlight been in the works for? When did you guys start, and how is the development going?
I mean, I guess this has been something that has really been discussed since City of Zion was really created. And I don't know if your viewers are very familiar with City of Zion.
Yes, of course they are. Yes.
Yeah, so we've been talking about this a lot since the very beginning, and a lot of the concepts and the drivers behind City of Zion, right, where you have these really kind of impassioned or engaged contributors on these projects, right? So that concept we've tried to instill in a platform that can really be productized and used in conventional industries in addition to blockchain space as well.
So Moonlight is basically a decentralized work space platform.
Correct.
So what people do you see using it first? What kind of projects do you see happening on Moonlight first?
So I think in the very beginning you'll end up seeing a large influx of what we call resolvers in the platform from the technical space, right? I think you'll also see, and this is something that we encounter a lot in City of Zion, is groups that come to us to ask for technical contributors, right? So they ask us, do you know somebody that knows how to write smart contracts in the NEO ecosystem? So I think you'll see that type of matchmaking occur very early on in the platform, just because we already do that. We facilitate that type of activity already in City of Zion on a daily basis. I think moving forward, or long term, what you'll end up seeing is conventional industry, right, non-blockchain space, start to adopt the platform, just because it provides a lot of really easy access to technical capabilities, and actually also non-technical capabilities that you may not have within your kind of localized team of 5 or 6 people.
When you have hundreds, thousands, millions of people across the world able to contribute, it's better than 15, 20 of this small little company.
Right, exactly.
So could you explain the architecture of Moonlight? So Neo blockchain is being used, but is Moonlight going to be their own application, or?
Yeah, so at the base you have obviously the NEO blockchain, right? On top of that, we have a series of smart contracts that act as a trustless resume, and that's kind of at the core or base of the platform, right? Now, as you complete tasks in the system, and even before that, you can fill out a non-verified resume effectively, right? You can think of like LinkedIn as an example, right? Where you fill out your resume.
And it could be true or not.
Right, exactly. It could be true or not. So in this system, when you go in and you complete tasks in what's effectively an analytical project management platform, all the tasks you complete are actually logged on the blockchain itself, right? As well as technical information like how well you performed, and vice versa, right? How well the product manager also performed in that relationship. And then you also get information about the bidding accuracy as well. So what that prevents is gaming of the system, right? Where somebody could go in and completely undercut everybody, right? And that ratio of bidding versus actually how long it takes you to complete a project or a task will ultimately go into our analytical project management platform, which will provide a lot of complexity for larger scale projects, which is more common in industry as opposed to kind of the freelance space.
Okay. So when you're talking about digital resumes, so individuals could have basically a digital resume. Do you see like project teams as well having resumes?
Right, yeah. So the system actually supports their recursive organizations is effectively what they are, right? So you can have an organization of a single contributor, right, which would be equivalent to the freelance space, right? You can also have an entire company. So, for example, like a contract development organization, right? They could all band together and also contribute as a single entity.
Really?
In the system.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because I could see that even City of Zion, we could have a digital resume
Right.
for the City of Zion.
Correct.
So, do you see any other things besides the digital resume coming out of the Moonlight project?
Yeah, so the big thing is actually and I think this is what will show up in kind of phase 2 of our roadmap, our technical roadmap. What you'll end up seeing in addition to the digital resume is the use of that data on more advanced platforms, which will be very valuable to non-blockchain space, right? Where a project may take 2 years, for example, to complete, right? And that's historically been something that's been very difficult in the freelance space, where you bring somebody in for one single task and then you get rid of them, and then it's really difficult to deal with that onboarding activity, and then you're relying on skill sets that are subjective, et cetera, right? So I think what we'll end up seeing is this conventional space that adopts this platform as well is just the blockchain space, where they'll bring in this platform and they can actually use it internal to the company, right? Where they can go in and they may not even interface with the outside community or the freelance community. They'll just use it internally as a project management platform that's on the blockchain.
Yeah.
And then all the contributors are also still building up their resume passively at the same time.
The thing I think is really cool is your skills are going to be verified. There's going to be no more, like you said, you can write anything on LinkedIn. You can write anything on a paper resume, and can it be verified? So I think that's one of the biggest things I can't wait to see is people cannot fudge resumes anymore. Guess what? This is the work I did, and this is how it got done.
Definitely.
So let's talk about the ICO for Moonlight. When do you guys have a plan for that? Any information regarding that?
Right. So the big thing for us right now is actually the technical architecture, right? And I think you'll see that a lot on the upcoming white paper, right? So we published 2 articles on our website currently. What you'll end up seeing is a lot more detail, including information about the upcoming token sale in our white paper, as well as some modeling, because we're a technical or statistical modeling group. You'll see a lot of that information as well with some relevant simulations on the token mechanics. We really want to, I guess, prevent a lot of hype around the project until that white paper comes out, because we want people to actually get excited about the real thing instead of, I guess, the term is shilling the project.
Exactly.
Right. So we'll get that out now, and then we're kind of looking at an early, I think, Q2 kind of time frame for a token sale.
Okay.
With an MVP or minimum viable product kind of following up in parallel.
Well,
so you'll see 2 swim lanes.
That's a good thing. One of the things I say on my channel regarding projects is you got to have a good blockchain, and you got Neo.
Right.
You got to have an MVP, at least a product out there working, and you got that. And you got to have a great community, and you're in the best community right now with Neo.
That's my opinion as well.
Mine too. So could you talk about some of the team members besides yourself on Moonlight?
Right. So I'm a co-founder of COZ. And my background is in analytical project management and systems engineering. And then we also have two other co-founders of City of Zion. So a lot of you may be familiar with A Fong or Alan Fong. He's a pretty big personality in the community. He's also co-founder of City of Zion. And then we also have Michael DeWall, who's another co-founder of City of Zion in the community. We also have a number of developers from, I'm saying City of Zion a lot. This is a very
City of
Zion centric project. So we have people like core developers from that community as well. So Chris Birmingham, and then Travis Lynn, definitely. They're really kind of headlining a lot of the core development activities as well.
Awesome.
So yeah, I think it's a pretty well stacked project in terms of development.
Very robust too.
Yeah, and a lot of these people are very proven in the ecosystem already.
Exactly, and that's what you need. You need to have the foundation there before you can build up.
Right.
So could you talk about the marketplace within Moonlight?
Right. Yeah. So the marketplace is actually kind of interesting. And in the DevCon presentation, I talked a little bit about how it's very similar to an exchange.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So in a conventional currency exchange, you're trading one currency for another. In our system, you have, they're more advanced matchmaking protocols, right? Because you aren't locking down to one specific currency for another. In our platform, you can think of it as trading a currency for work, right? Or what we'd call velocity in the system and project management space, right? So that's kind of the way to think about the platform as a whole.
As the trading that happens.
Yeah, so there's an exchange of currency for work.
For work. And how is a work going to be verified? Like that is the type of work that is happening.
Right, so in the ecosystem right now, what you're kind of responsible for, you're not going to pay for work that's not completed, obviously, right? Yeah. So that's kind of the binding factor, right? So it's similar to, if you think of a traditional, like an Airbnb or an Uber or a Lyft or something like that, right? In an Airbnb, if they don't allow you to stay at your house, for example, you're going to not give them a good review. You're going to report them in the system. It's not going to work out, right? Yep. So that's kind of the same mechanic that we'll be using in our system. And I think you'll see that as well just throughout the system, right? We're kind of merging conventional project management platforms with some of these gig economy concepts to really provide a scalable solution that identifies tasks with their ideal candidates.
So you're probably pretty familiar with Microsoft Project.
I am.
So is there any Moonlight Microsoft Project type application out there you guys have been thinking about?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But I could definitely see some interfacing there, some support, right? Some integration. That's actually a platform that lends itself really well to this ecosystem, I think, right? Where you are effectively integrating this data set into that type of platform. Mm-hmm. One other thing to also consider, so Microsoft Project is a waterfall-based project management system, so one of the main goals of this project is also to support more of an agile type of development process, which is more common in software space, and especially in startups. So that's one thing that we really want to also support. But the project management tools are just that, they're tools. So I think the goal of this project is to support a bunch of them. I think a lot of them can benefit from the concepts that we're describing
I
here.
do too. So one question I like to ask all my interviewees is, how did you first get into cryptocurrency? Bitcoin or Litecoin, whatever you got into first.
Right, so I'm actually relatively new to the blockchain space. Mm-hmm. What initially got me excited about the blockchain space was actually the concept of the smart contract, right? And this is more from an engineering background, right? So I'm very interested in developing blockchain as a platform for other applications to be built on top of.
Yeah.
So I'm a very firm believer that this is kind of the future platform for a lot of applications.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what that's really what got me started in cryptocurrency. And you look at Neo and it just checks off all the boxes, right? Especially from an industry standpoint, right?
Exactly.
You can just write a smart contract in any language that's supported on the blockchain, and if the language isn't supported, well, then you write support for it.
Exactly, and for enterprise solutions, you can't have like Dongfei said, a blockchain that splits, a network split.
Correct.
So a lot of these enterprise and industry solutions are going to come from the Neo blockchain and Neo-based projects.
That's correct.
So one last question. Do you have anything for my viewers to learn about Moonlight? Where can they go to learn more? And any last words for them?
Yeah, so I guess I would highly recommend checking out the Moonlight website, which is just Moonlight.io. And last words, I guess I would say, if you're a developer out there, definitely join or look into joining City of Zion. And that's not specific to just software developers. That's graphic designers as well.
Well, I definitely have a bunch of developers watch my channel and in my Telegram group. So guys, you heard it from the man himself, Tyler Adams. Look into the City of Zion. I want to thank Moonlight for actually getting the crypto YouTubers out here. That was perfect, man. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. And of course, I got to thank Neo. So now I'm sending it over to Crypto Love and Fabio of City of Zion.